So I'm excited today to be reading chapter 7 in the Great Illustrated Classics version of The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. We're here at the Caribou Public Library in Caribou, Maine. I'm Miss Erin, and I am so glad that you've decided to join us today for our chapter book story time. So let's go ahead and get started. We're in chapter 7, which is called Learning the Ways of Man. Here's Mowgli overlooking the village. Mowgli followed the rough road that led down into the valley, running for about 20 miles until he was certain that he was far away from the jungle. He crossed a rocky plain where cattle and buffalo were grazing, then fields of crops. At the far end of the field stood a little village. Feeling hungry, Mowgli decided to enter the village. The first man to see him ran shouting for the priest when Mowgli pointed to his mouth to show that he wanted food. Minutes later, a big fat man dressed in white came toward him, followed by 100 staring, shouting villagers. Mowgli tossed his hair back from his face and frowned at the mob. "These men people have no manners," he muttered. "They're as bad as the Banderlog." The priest turned to his people and explained, "There is no need to fear this boy. The white scars on his arms and legs are merely from wolf bites. He's a wolf child who has run away from the jungle." "Poor child," cried one woman to another standing beside her. "He's a handsome boy, Misua. Don't you think he looks very much like your boy who was stolen by that tiger so many years ago?" Misua stared hard at Mowgli. "He does look like my Nathu He does look a little like my Nathu would if he were alive. But this boy is so thin. No, he can't be my poor lost Nathu. What do you think?" The priest knew that Misua's husband was the richest man in the village, and that the man would reward him for bringing his lost son back. So the priest told Misua, "What the jungle took from you years ago, it now returns. Take the boy into your house, for the gods tell me he is your son." Here they are talking, and there's Mowgli just wanting some food, "I feel as though the pack is looking me over again," Mowgli said to himself. "But if that is what it means to be a man, then I must allow it." The crowd parted as Mowgli followed Misua to her hut. After she had given him some bread and milk, she placed her hands gently on his head and looked deeply into his eyes. "Is it possible that you are my son?" she asked. "Oh, my little baby, my lost Nathu, how I miss him. Oh, if the gods told the priest that you are my Nathu, you shall be my son." Of course, Mowgli didn't understand anything Misua was saying. He knew only the language of the jungle people, not the words of man. "But if I'm to live with man, I must learn to talk like him," he decided. So, just as he had learned to imitate the sounds of all the jungle people, Mowgli now began to repeat each word Misua spoke. By the time darkness fell, he had learned the names of most everything in the hut. Bedtime, however, was a problem. Mowgli was accustomed to sleeping outdoors, and the hut reminded him of a panther trap. So when Misua closed the door, Mowgli feared a trap and jumped out the window. "Let him do what he wishes," her husband assured her. "The boy has never slept in a house or on a bed before. If he is truly our son, he won't run away." Mowgli stretched himself out on some long, clean grass at the edge of the field and was almost asleep when a soft gray nose poked him under the chin. "Phew," said Gray Brother, the oldest of Mother Wolf's cubs. "I've been following you for 20 miles to bring you news. Wake up, little brother." It was one of his wolf brothers. Oh, here they are in the house. He was afraid to be inside at night. Mowgli hugged his wolf brother. "Are all my brothers in the jungle well?" "All except those wolves that you burned with the red flower. Shere Khan has gone away to hunt elsewhere until his burned coat grows again. But he swears that he'll return to kill you and throw your bones in the Wangana Ganja River." "That yellow-striped coward, he doesn't frighten me. Just don't forget to always visit me and bring me news of the jungle. And don't let man make you forget that you're a wolf, little brother." "Man cannot make me forget that I love you and the wolves in our cave, just as I'll never forget that I hate the rest of the wolves who cast me out of the pack. Remember that you could be cast out of the man pack too. Men aren't to be trusted either. But I'll bring you news often. When I come, I'll wait for you among the bamboo trees at the edge of the field. Here they are talking to each other. And his wolf brother. And that's the end of chapter 7. So we'll continue on next time on chapter 8. Short chapter for today. All right, we'll see you then. You have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.